Hey everybody, welcome. We're going to be getting started in just a few moments. Going to wait for everybody to enter the Zoom session. Hope everybody's having a wonderful evening or afternoon, depending on where you're coming from today. Okay, it looks like more people are still joining the session, so just a few more moments. Okay, so that looks like we have a good amount of people entered our session. So hi everybody, my name is Andrew Weiss from the Office of Admissions at Syracuse University. I am an admissions counselor on campus, also a proud Syracuse University alumni. I am very happy to be joined by our Syracuse University broad office today. And today we're going to be sharing with you a little bit about what studying abroad is like at Syracuse University. I am a Syracuse University alumni. I also did study abroad while I was on campus, studied abroad at the Madrid Center. So I do have some knowledge here, but I'm going to pass it over to my lovely colleague, Maria, who will introduce herself and then pass it over to some of the students that she has brought with her today.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that great introduction, everyone. We're so happy to be here today. As mentioned, my name is Maria Del Mar Ponte. I'm the Campus Outreach Manager for Syracuse Abroad. And today we'll be telling you a little bit more about this experience of going abroad. And I am joined here today by 4 of my global ambassadors. They all are returning alumni from our programs, and they're here to also answer any questions you might have and tell you a little bit more about their experience abroad after our presentation. However, I will let them introduce themselves first. So if we could go, Jake, Caitlin, Bailey, and John.
Okay, hi guys. My name is Jacob Kahana. I'm a senior here at Syracuse. I'm an economics major with a double minor in sports management and sports analytics. I spent my freshman semester doing the Discovery program in Madrid, and then I did junior year in Florence.
Hi everyone, my name is Caitlin McCoy and I'm also a senior. I'm in the I School majoring in information management and technology with a concentration in web design management. And I studied abroad last spring 2020 in Strasbourg, France.
Hi everyone, I'm Bailey Davis. I'm currently a sophomore here at Syracuse majoring in international relations and economics in the Maxwell School. And I studied abroad my freshman year as part of the Discovery Florence program. So, yes.
Hi, everyone. My name is John Mazza. I'm a junior and I'm a civil engineering major. And I studied abroad in Florence of spring 2020.
Perfect, thank you. And so all of them will be here right after my presentation to answer any questions that you also might have about going abroad through Syracuse. So we'll start with this great pun of what you ought to know about study abroad. Actually, one of our great centers, Florence Center, was established in 1959. So we've been operating for over 60 years now. It's probably one of our most popular centers. As you can see, 3 of our global ambassadors did go there. About 55% of SU students go abroad during their time here, and they go abroad in a variety of different opportunities, whether that be during a semester, a full academic year, a summer program, a faculty-led or a short-term program. So whatever it is the need of our students, we certainly have something to fit that need. When you compare that to only about 10% of students around the US that actually go abroad, going abroad makes you stand out in any future interviews that you might have, whether it be with internships or a future job position. We are so happy to announce that this past year we were ranked number 7 in study abroad, and this is something we're really proud of. We've been working so hard in the field to make sure that we provide students a meaningful experience abroad where they do have an immersive experience and still benefit from wonderful staff and faculty at our overseas centers. At a glance, we have about 100 options in 60 different countries. And this is about 5 Syracuse Center programs, over 60 World Partner programs, 30 summer programs every summer, and some unique theme-based programming that we have for our students. So why should you study abroad, right? Why are we all here talking to you about this? And why is it such an important experience about being at Syracuse University? So going abroad really enables you to become a global citizen. You develop cultural sensitivity and a real awareness of cultural differences. In addition to that, you have such a great way to culturally immerse yourself in the location. Most of our students here had the opportunity to live with a host family, so they can also talk a little bit more about that. And it's usually the most rewarding piece about going abroad because you get to share meals with your family, have, you know, day-to-day conversations. They help you navigate a new location. So it really becomes like your second home. In addition to that, you can develop language skills, whether you want actual foreign language skills or just to develop your cross-cultural communication. Both of them are really beneficial once you get out into the job world. In addition to that, we have a lot of students report academic skills development. A lot of our classes, again, have you interact with the city. Say you take Italian 101, which I think Bailey did that, and you get to go out into the markets, you know, learn a little bit about how to order food, get, you know, a coffee in the afternoon. And so this has really led to a lot of increased engagement in our classrooms. In addition to that, you grow a lot personally, whether it is becoming more independent or adaptable in different situations. And finally, we also offer our students professional opportunities. So you can also, you know, have an internship during your time abroad, volunteer at local schools. So there's a variety of ways to still have some really great ways to build your resume during your time abroad. So looking at our center programs, if you're thinking about our centers, that is like an extension of Syracuse University. So we have a center in Santiago, Chile, in Madrid, Spain, London, England, Strasbourg, France, and Florence, Italy. In addition to that, we have an amazing program in exploring Central Europe. And so you're actually based out of Wrocław, Poland, and then you get to travel throughout Poland during the semester. So it's a really great opportunity because it has traveling built into your curriculum. If you're wondering, how does a semester start at our centers? It typically begins with a traveling signature seminar. Sometimes these are required, sometimes they're optional. And these are a 10 to 14 day course to begin your program. So you do get 3 credits, but it's a really great way to make friends if you are going alone to your center and also just acclimating to a new environment, just making sense of everything that's around you. We offer a variety of courses in most disciplines. As you can see, our students are of varying disciplines. We have some engineers, we have from the iSchool, Maxwell, Falk. So our students definitely can find something that they can take advantage of during their time abroad. We do have language courses. So if you wanted to further your Spanish, your French, or your Italian, you're able to do so that in our centers. If you don't speak the language, please don't fret. The only location that requires you to speak Spanish is Santiago, Chile. Other than that, you will be taking a local language course, but you don't need to speak the language to go to the other centers. Our housing opportunities also vary by center. Some are host families, some have residence halls, some have apartments, and some have flats. So it just kind of depends on the location that you choose. We also have the opportunity for you to direct enroll at a local university. So if you were wanting to, you know, take classes at the University of Florence because you already speak Italian, that's something you can also take advantage of. And then finally, our internships. So they vary between corporate, small business, community-based, and NGOs. Moving on to our World Partner Program. So we obviously recognize that students might have an interest to go to other places around the world. So we partnered with other universities or exchange programs around the world to build a student more opportunities. As you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, there's over 60 programs that you could potentially take advantage of. And these range, from Australia to Ireland, where a lot of our students that are in the engineering school go to. We have some film studies at Prague. So we have a little bit for everyone. And in addition to this, we have some really great summer programming every summer. We have summer center-based sessions in Florence, Madrid, and London. We have some internship opportunities at our Strasbourg Center, some theme-based and faculty-led programs. And then we also have some short-term programs, and these are taken in conjunction with a class on campus. So you could be taking a class in the fall and then during the academic break, be able to travel to either visit the places you learned about in class or just apply something that you've learned in the classroom. So are there a lot of choices? Yes, but what are some things that kind of help you narrow down where you'd like to go? I first want to say that it is never too early to start planning your term abroad, especially if you might want to go abroad more than once, like my Global Ambassador Jake did, or if you were wanting to make sure you had this plan set up from your first year. Look at your academics, meet with your academic advisor. They're really kind of the best person to talk about your degree requirements and what destination might fit best with the classes offered. Also look at a destination. So where would you like to live for a semester or a year? What culture interests you? Looking at the language, are there any requirements for going abroad? As I mentioned, only Santiago, Chile requires you to have a Spanish 201 before going there because it is a fully immersive experience. So everything will be in Spanish when you go there. What are some personal goals? Are you interested in fashion or sports? What are some other things that you would like to see and do? Do you want an internship? And so keep in mind that you do an internship while you're taking classes. And then how far outside of your comfort zone do you want to go? So I think this is something that can be challenging at times because it's hard to step out of our comfort zone, but it is definitely probably the most rewarding thing that you can do. And here are some sample areas of study. This isn't by any means exhaustive, but we do have some specialized engineering programs in Florence and Strasbourg, and that's what John took advantage of. We do have some really great courses for international relations students. We have some internships at the Council of Europe in Strasbourg. Some of our business students go to Madrid. Humanities are really across the board. So if you were wanting to take your social sciences and electives while abroad, you can really pick from all of our different opportunities. So this is just to kind of give you a small taste of all the different locations that we have available to a variety of majors. So just looking at financing abroad, really simple. We have our SU tuition, no matter what program you go in. And then we have a program fee. The program fee is similar to a room and board. It has a signature seminar if required, some cultural activities and field trips, and then your housing and meals. What's not covered is obviously personal expenses. So you want to make sure, again, that you plan ahead of time so that you can budget for any independent travel or other extracurricular activities you want to take advantage of. And so thinking about financial aid, your current financial aid package travels with you during the semesters. So it's kind of an easier way to think about that. And your financial aid advisor should be able to talk to you a little bit more about that once you're ready to go abroad. In addition to that, every semester academic year, we have grants, we have scholarships that we advertise to all of our students. If you are a Pell Grant recipient when you come to Syracuse, keep in mind the Gilman Scholarship. It's a really great way to get some extra funding for your time abroad. And then we always have some summer financial aid available in some way, shape, or form. And then that is the end of my part of the presentation. If you do want to get any further information, I encourage you to go to our website at suabroad.syr.edu. In addition to that, if any of you have Instagram, you can follow us at Syracuse Abroad. And that's really just a great way to stay up to date with any information we have. Our students here do some Instagram lives discussing really frequently asked questions about how it was to be at a homestay family, what was the experience at a world partner, how did you budget for going abroad? So I think that our Instagram is a great way to get a lot of that information. We also do some fun cooking lives where you get to kind of bring abroad home. And so that's a great way to engage with our students and kind of talk a little bit more about studying abroad in a more kind of informal way. So I will stop sharing here so that we can start answering any of the questions.
Okay, great. So we had a few questions come in. If you had not had your chance to ask your question yet, please feel free to navigate over to the Q&A tab, and we'll be more than happy to answer any of the questions you may have. But getting started with our first question, this was regarding all of the centers that we have available on campus. Are you able to, all the centers that we have available for our students, are you able to study abroad at all the centers, including the World Partnership programs for a semester, or does the time vary depending on the program?
Yeah, so they're all semester long if you want. You could potentially do an entire year if you wanted to do that. That would just be planning it ahead. But all of our centers and our world partners are meant to be semester long opportunities. So it won't, cut into your spring semester if you go in the fall. And if you go in the spring, it won't cut into your fall semester.
Okay, great. The next question is there a preferred year to study abroad, or and I know it's kind of dependent on program, but all the students had different times, so.
Yeah. So I would say the most popular time frame is your spring semester sophomore year into either fall or spring junior year. Like you said, it kind of depends because for John, his opportunity was sophomore year spring semester or sophomore year fall. And so he went sophomore year spring semester because that was really built into his study his plan of study. So I would say it just kind of depends. Jake, when did you go to Madrid? Was it your junior year spring?
So I went to Madrid my first semester freshman
Yeah.
year, and then I went to Florence my first semester junior year.
Yeah. So I would say anytime between, spring of sophomore into junior year. And again, I would plan it still ahead of time, even if you're thinking junior year, because you might end up taking some courses on campus that you might prefer to take overseas. So that's why we always encourage students to kind of look through our class list. They are published on our website, and that's kind of a way to see what courses you might be able to take advantage of.
Okay. The next question we have is, are credits easily transferable back to Syracuse? I assume this is more related to our World Partnership programs.
Yes. So if you actually go on our website, suabroad.sor.edu World Partners, you'll see that we already have a list of pre-approved courses. So those courses that are on that list, that means students have taken before and they do transfer back to Syracuse University. If there were perchance a class that you saw that hasn't been approved yet, we do have approval process in place so that our World Partner Office can help you with that so that you can get those approved.
Okay. So for students who studied abroad during their freshman year, do they have to plan for that going through college? So talk about the discovery program and that just how students get selected for discovery program, I guess.
Yeah, so I believe that to be a part of the discovery program is an option in the Common App. And then once that you kind of, I think, rank them by your preference. And then I believe within the admissions office, the final decision is made as to who goes where. And then you get informed, and then Bailey and Jake can maybe talk a little bit more about that. I know that they're also in contact with discovery students, so you do get kind of time to talk to them, time to ask any questions that you might have. So it's a pretty involved process between our office and admissions to make sure that you are kind of as at peace and well informed I think Bailey, you just recently did that discovery event. So if maybe you could talk a little bit more, or Jake, about your experience being a discovery student.
I guess I can start. In a more general sense, being a discovery student is amazing. Honestly, I swear by the program. I love it so much. And as far as support from staff, it's a very supported process because there's a lot you're going to be doing, especially as a freshman. You're kind of like, you're not treated as a baby at all, but like you're kind of coddled, because you're the youngest. So it's it's really good. I feel like there's a lot of support going into that. Jake, would you like to add on?
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of speak to it from both directions because as a freshman, I had a really nice support staff. And then as a junior, I was part of that support staff. So during my junior year first semester, junior year in Florence, I was a TA and freshman mentor for Bailey's group of incoming freshmen. So I would go to their class once a week and I would kind of give like a weekly, not a weekly talk, but I'd give talks about like what's transitioning to campus going to be like. What are you going to expect when you're registering for classes? And then throughout the semester, I helped plan trips and make sure that everybody kind of got engaged and was able to enjoy their experience as much as possible.
Okay, cool. So for our next question, how hard is it for students who study abroad to stay on track to graduate in their allotted time period?
Yeah, so I think I will definitely ask John and Caitlin to chime in, because I know that Caitlin is in the iSchool, but she took a different set of classes. And then for John, it just, that was a program we created for him. I would say that in my time here, I haven't had any student that has been, set back or not able to graduate within the time frame that they want. As I mentioned, a lot of students, we get in front of you first year to make sure that you're planning this and talking to your academic advisors so that it fits into your program. So it's not almost, it's not an afterthought, or it's not something that you add, haphazardly. This is something that you meet with your academic advisor, you meet with our international program advisors, and you make sure that this program fits into your time here. So maybe if John, you wanted to talk a little bit more about how that went with your engineering program, then in Caitlin, what you chose to do as an iSchool student.
So for me, I knew that studying abroad was something that I really wanted to do in college. So my first semester freshman year, when I met with my academic advisor, I was kind of planning ahead and I wanted to just see how I could do it. And as an engineer, I had the options to go in the fall or the spring my sophomore year. I ended up choosing the spring because I wanted to go to Italy. But while I was there, I actually took 3 engineering classes. I took Italian, and then I got credit for one of the signature seminars. So for me, it was something that it meshed very easily. My classes pretty much picked up right where I left off from main campus. And then when I got back, it was kind of a continuation. I took the same classes as my classmates here took. It was just different professors and in Italy. So I'll go to Caitlin now.
Yeah, so I kind of had a very similar story in that I had gone into college knowing that I wanted to study abroad. So I kind of already had that mindset. And then I continued to talk to my advisors throughout my entire experience prior to going abroad so I could have my schedule kind of figured out, mapped out, not down to the T, but as close as possible. Just because I am in the iSchool, so there aren't a lot of really all iSchool courses offered in Strasbourg, but I knew I really wanted to go study in France. So we kind of mapped out a plan for me to take all more major courses while I was here on campus in Syracuse rather than electives, and kind of focus on taking my general electives and my art and science courses while I was abroad. So I ended up getting almost all of my elective credit while I was abroad, which is really nice because I got to just focus on my major while I am here in Syracuse and learn more about French life and take French. And I took a French literature class, which is really awesome, something that I wouldn't necessarily take here on campus. So it was good for me to be able to take courses that kind of aligned with that culture. So I definitely just recommend talking to your advisors, being in contact with them, and staying on track with that, and you'll be all set.
Great, thank you so much. So for the next question, are dual major students able to study abroad?
Jake, aren't you a dual major?
I might as well be.
Yeah.
I'm taking enough credits to be. So yeah, I mean, the biggest thing with that is you really just have to plan ahead. Like from the moment I got back on campus after my first semester freshman year abroad experience, immediately was like, okay, I know I'm going to go back. And so you just have to plan ahead. You have to know the classes you want to take. You have to know what the classes are offered in the center, and always talk to not only the advisors in the abroad office, but talk to the advisors in your individual schools. Because I had a kind of like a difficult scenario where I needed a specific course to take that specific semester in order to graduate. And luckily like the whatever, like the guy who runs that department was really accommodating. He says, okay, like it's not typically an online course, but we're going to be able to let you take it online so you can stay on track to graduate. So everybody's really willing to help you to get it done. So yeah, if you double major, maybe triple majors, if those even exist, as long as you plan it out successfully, then it's definitely doable.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off of that, if you again go on our website and look at recent abroad alumni, you'll see that most of them are either double majors or have a major and a minor. You know, some added a minor actually after going abroad. So it's definitely doable. You just want to plan ahead and meet with both of the major advisors.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so for all the students here, why did y'all decide to study abroad?
Yeah, we'll do Jake, Bailey, Caitlin, and John just so that it's more coordinated.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so why did I study abroad? The first time I studied abroad because I wanted to give myself every possibility of getting to college. I clicked yes on every box. I was like, yes, I wanted to say yes to everything because I thought that was going to be the best chance. And I was really nervous about it at first. I was like, I don't know if I really want to do this. It seems really intimidating. And luckily I had like a supportive family behind me to push it to do it. And they kind of pushed me, said, no, this is going to be a once in a lifetime opportunity. Like you have to give it a shot. And so that's what helped me kind of get over my nervousness about it. And then I absolutely don't regret it because clearly I liked it so much that I felt like I absolutely needed to do it again. And so the reason I went the second time was because the first time was so great. Like,
I studied abroad my freshman year of college because I wanted to not only get away from the Midwest, like as far away from there as possible, but I also wanted to like not have a traditional college freshman experience. And I thought that was like perfect. And I'm also planning on studying abroad again next spring. So I'm excited for that as well.
Yeah, and then for me, I had never been out of the country before studying abroad, and it was practically number one on my bucket list. And I like really didn't see any better option than to spend a period living abroad. So I thought college was the perfect experience. I would still be able to learn, I would still be able to take classes and really immerse myself in a culture that's not mine so I can learn more about the world. And I just really wanted to soak in every opportunity to get used to a culture other than my own. So that's why I went.
So for me, I've always been somebody that has loved to travel and just experience new things at different places of the world. And I actually it was a high school program. So it was after my junior year of high school. I was in Rome for 2 weeks and I got college credit for it. And then that's kind of when I fell in love with Italy. I wanted to go back to Italy and it was a different place. It was in Florence. I didn't really go outside of Rome while I was there in high school. So I wanted to go back and kind of spend a lot more time there and be able to travel and see other places of Europe as well.
Okay, awesome. So I'm going to change this next question just slightly. So how do internships and research opportunities work for students who are studying abroad?
Yeah, so on their application, they can click if they want to do an internship while they're abroad. And it's actually quite a detailed internship application because you kind of want to set yourself up for success, really. We have an internship coordinator at each of our centers, so you do work with them closely. In this internship application, you can discuss, what type of internship you're interested in, what your major is, what you want to get out of it, what type of, tasks did you want to take advantage of while you were doing this internship, and what was your goal with doing this internship. And then once you complete that, we send that information to our internship coordinators at our centers, and then they work tirelessly to find an internship that fits the majority of your needs, if not all of them. And then for research opportunities, so a lot of those are in the summer. For example, we have an engineering research opportunity in Strasbourg, and you would apply to that program directly as well, and they would help set you up with a research at the local institution, which is INSA, the Institute of Applied Sciences.
Okay, awesome. And how many credits do students typically take when studying abroad?
Yeah, so typically the minimum is 12 credits, so it's 4 courses. I'd say the majority of students maybe go between 12 to 15, because you also want to be able to have the time to experience the city that you're in. I believe you can take up to 18, but we definitely recommend students not overloading themselves with classes, because you also want to be able to explore the city that you're in, and you want to be able to have dinner with your family if you're in a homestay, and still be able to enjoy it that way.
Okay, so Jake, this next question is for you specifically. So did you like Florence or Madrid better?
So I can't pick favorites because MDM will probably be pretty mad if I put one center above each other. But I think it really depends on the kind of experience you're looking for. Madrid is kind of a big city experience. It's really linked to everything. It like New York, it never sleeps. The clubs are open till 6 a.m. It's a really big city experience compared to Florence, which is much more kind of small town. You're walking everywhere. Everything's a little bit older. It's got a different feel to it compared to Madrid versus Florence. So it really depends on what experience you're looking for.
Okay. So how do you think COVID's going to impact studying abroad in the future?
Yeah, so I would say, that for our students, we actually have students right now. For those that didn't know, we do have an architecture program in Florence right now. And I would say the main difference that we have been noticing is that our students are able to get a more in-depth experience of the place they're actually in. So if you are in Florence, we had one of our students do a takeover recently, and she mentions how because currently there aren't as many tourists, you're really able to get that in-depth experience of a daily life in Florence. And it's just locals and our students there right now. So it's a really great way to immerse yourself completely in the place that you're in. And our staff all over our centers are working really hard to make sure that our students are having an immersive experience during the time that they're there. Also, I think there might be some differences with housing. So currently, our students in Italy are housed in a student hotel, whereas typically they would have a homestay family. I would say those are really the main differences that we have right now, because you still have a staff. We're still there supporting you 24/7, anything that you might need. I would say that something that is different is that students are going to be able to get a more in-depth experience at our different locations. Whereas I think in the past, students would have the ability to travel a little bit more. This is more kind of limited to certain areas of where you'll be traveling to.
Okay, yeah. And this next question is a great question, definitely something that we get in our office very often. How far in advance should a student plan to study abroad?
Yeah, so I'll kind of let my students also answer this. Maybe Caitlin, I think, well, Bailey's already planning it, sophomore year. I would say 6 to 8 months typically is when students start kind of applying. So for example, our students that are wanting to go spring 22, the application is going to open on May 1st. And so that's about 6 to 8 months in advance of going there. But I don't know, maybe if Caitlin or Jake, when did you start thinking about it?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, I always knew that I wanted to study abroad. It was more just the question of when, rather than if. So as soon as the abroad application opened up, I am pretty sure I submitted it the same day, just because I always knew and I was really eager and I just wanted to check it off my list. So I always had the idea, so I knew it was just figuring out if I wanted to go in the fall or the spring, and ultimately I wanted to get away from the Syracuse snow, so I chose spring. And it was a great experience and I loved it.
I guess
Okay.
I can build upon that. Someone also in the chat asked me where I'm going next. So my geographical location for my major is Europe. So if I want to take classes that go with my major, I have to go to Europe, which is great, like awesome. I'm thinking about doing Strasbourg, but I also want to go to Morocco because I take French. So I got to figure that out, but it'll probably be Strasbourg. And I've been planning it since like last semester. I think I'm still like figuring everything out, but I'm gonna apply as soon as the application's open in like a week. So yeah.
Okay, so for our next question, we're going back to the students. So we'll go with the same order as before. Go
Yeah.
Jake, Bailey, Caitlin, and John. Why did y'all choose Syracuse?
So I chose Syracuse. I applied to a whole lot of schools. I chose Syracuse as soon as I stepped on campus for Acceptance Students Day. I really liked like the campus vibe that I felt everywhere. Like it's kind of hard to describe, but the way that kind of Syracuse campus is built is like it's its own like thing. Like it's separate from everything else. You have this huge campus where everybody else is just kind of we're all students here. I really like the vibe on campus. And then of course like the opportunity to take a program like studying abroad your first semester, that really swayed me from other schools as well.
I was also in the same situation. As soon as I visited Syracuse campus, I was like, okay, this is the one. And then also like the study abroad opportunity as a freshman, I was like, I can't say no to Italy. So, and then also like just the campus itself. I'm from Chicago, like downtown, so big city, everything's always moving, and I really like Syracuse because it's smaller, like change of pace, everything is slower, so I really enjoy that.
So I looked a lot into like the study abroad programs while I was in high school and filling out my applications, and Syracuse had a great one. So that was a huge factor for me. I actually never visited Syracuse before I committed to coming here. I just did a bunch of online research and was like, this is the place, like I'm gonna go. I've literally never been to New York before. I'm from California. So I really just I winged it and I love it. And I definitely recommend it.
I'm actually very, very similar to Caitlin. When I was in high school, I was looking around kind of online, and study abroad was one of the big things that I was looking for in a school. And Syracuse has had a very good study abroad program, still does. And that was a big part that swayed me. I also never stepped foot on campus until I moved in freshman year. And when I moved in, it was actually raining, and like it was just not a very nice day. But my mom like asked me, she's like, so like, what do you think? Is this going to be good for the next 4 years? I was like, I think it'll be perfect, and haven't really looked back since then. This is the first time that I've lived in the Northeast. I've lived pretty much everywhere else. I've lived in California, Texas, the Midwest. So I really love it, and I wouldn't trade my experience here for the world.
Okay, cool. So now for the students, for those of you that stayed with a host family, how was that experience, and what was that experience like for you?
So I can speak on this a little bit. I think that my host family was one of my favorite parts of studying abroad. when I was going into it, I was kind of hesitant. I didn't know if I wanted to stay with the host family. It was kind of leaning more towards an apartment, but it ended up being one of the staple experiences of abroad. My family it was an older couple, and they were incredible cooks. And we would always sit down at the dinner table and just for about an hour and a half, 2 hours during the week. And they would always ask us what we were learning in Italian that day. And we would just it was a really great time. And they were very understanding of being students and kind of what we wanted to do. And they were also very helpful in just kind of recommending different spots in Florence that were a little bit not infested with tourists. So they were very helpful in showing us like local kind of hidden gems, if you will.
Personally, I absolutely loved my host family. I was with a single mom and like her daughter. And so when you apply for like a homestay, you fill out like a form and everything that's very long, very meticulous. And as one of my hobbies, I put like fashion, all that stuff. And my host mom actually ran like a jewelry shop. So she'd take me shopping all the time and everything. Like it was just perfect. And her food was also incredible. So I loved shopping with my host mom.
Okay, so one last question sorry, Jake, do you want to talk about your host family experience? If you want to, go ahead.
I was just going to throw something out there just because I had like a kind of interesting experience my first semester. I got really, really sick halfway through the semester. And it was one of those things where my host mom treated me like as if I was her own child. They're only required to give you 2 meals a day, but she came in giving me 3 meals a day. She would come in and check on me. She would bring me like my medicine and stuff to help me feel better. Like they really welcome you in. Syracuse only takes like the top of the top host families. So these are the best ones. They're going to treat you as your own child, as if you were their own children.
Okay, so one last question for you all, and then we're going to call it a night. But what's your favorite memory from your study abroad experience? I'll give you a second to think on that. I know there's a lot.
All right, I think I can go. So this was actually this was a weekend trip that I planned with a few of my friends. We ended up going to Switzerland. So we were skiing in Switzerland for the weekend, and we were just staying at an Airbnb. Like pretty much, it was about a 20-minute walk from the mountains, so nothing too bad. But I ended up skiing down with my friends as the sun was setting over the Swiss Alps. And it was just one of the most surreal moments I think I've ever had. It was absolutely beautiful. And I was with my friends. And then when we ended up coming off the mountain, we got some Swiss fondue, and it was probably one of the best days of my life. It was so many cool things packed into about 2 hours that I wish I could be back.
I think I can go. So mine, Strasbourg has a signature seminar, which we talked a little about before, but basically, for Strasbourg, at least, it was a 10-day, like basically traveling period, but you are taking like lectures and getting course credit throughout it. And I got to go to 4 different countries before I even stepped foot in Strasbourg, which was so awesome. And during it, we went to Paris. And it was during the metro strike, so we had to walk everywhere. Like there was so much walking going on. And I only had the most uncomfortable pair of shoes because we only had like our carry-on bags with us because our huge bags got sent all the way to Strasbourg. And I only had one pair of shoes, and they were the most uncomfortable shoes ever. And my feet were so like ruined, but whatever. So we were in Paris, and it was the last night of us being in Paris before we went to Strasbourg. And I hadn't seen the Eiffel Tower, and that was like my main goal. I was like, we have to go see the Eiffel Tower. Like, I need to see it. And obviously all the metros were closed. They were on strike, so we had to walk. And it ended up being a 2-hour walk to the Eiffel Tower from our hotel. And me and my friends had no idea how long it would be. We just booked it, and it was 2 hours. and I was in so much pain walking. But then when I saw the twinkly lights of the Eiffel Tower, like it literally, I couldn't feel any pain at all. I was like, this is amazing. This is like everything I've ever dreamed of, better than the pictures. And it's my favorite memory, and I was in pain. So I really loved it.
I think if I have to narrow it down to just one, it's actually got to be the first trip that I took outside of Florence, where me and it was a lot of people. Me and maybe like 9 or 10 of my friends rented a villa on the Italian coast, and we spent like 3 days just beach hopping from place to place to place, swimming in this crystal clear water, beautiful sunny days all the whole time. Some of the best like pizza and pasta I've ever had, right fresh from the ocean. It was just, or seafood fresh from the ocean. It was just a magical experience.
I'd say my favorite experience studying abroad was also like Jake's. It was a different coast though. We went to the Amalfi Coast, and I have been dreaming about going there forever. So the fact that Syracuse had like a planned trip, like a planned weekend overnight situation trip, I was like, I have to go. And it was amazing. Like the seafood was so fresh. Like the coast is beautiful. We were in these like little like tuk-tuk trucks, like going like driving around the coast, and it was beautiful. So yeah.
Well, thank you all very much. I know that was a very tough question to end on, just to limit it down to one memory. But thank you so much for joining us this evening. We hope you learned a little bit more about the Syracuse University abroad opportunities. We definitely recommend studying abroad when you go to college. It is an absolutely amazing opportunity that you definitely should take advantage of. But if you have any questions following today for the abroad office, you could email them at suabroad@syr.edu. Or if you have any questions related to admissions, feel free to reach out to us at orange@syr.edu. But we hope you have a great rest of your evening, and go Orange.
Go Orange. Thank you.